Hey there, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for February 2022. And just a quick reminder, if you ever want to get a session with me, all you need to do is go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe, or even comment. You know I appreciate it, and of course, any engagement helps this channel out a lot. February is actually going to be an overwhelmingly positive month for everybody. It starts off a really, really cool trend where it feels like the year 2022 is actually beginning. And you know that means something coming from me because I'm not afraid to say when it's not the case that that would be going on. So be ready. I mean, everyone is getting blessed. And a big part of this is going to be focusing most heavily on both your second house of earned income, employment, your values and your valuables, and your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, and contracts, and your peer group, and just essentially, your popularity throughout the world. Of course, it's not all reserved to just these two places, but a lot of it is. And this is largely due in part to this cluster we have going on in your second house of earned income and employment, Capricorn. We've got Venus direct here all month. We've got Mars here all month. And we've got Mercury direct as of the 3rd here for the first half of the month through the 14th. And so with Venus, the planet of love, affection, popularity, and favor, working over your second house of earned income and employment and values and valuables, you're going to be finding that this month you're able to attract a great deal of new wealthy way opportunities to yourself with much less effort. Because when Venus is in our second house, we actually notice that the more prized and the more highly valued and the more lucrative opportunities, lucrative roles, lucrative positions or projects that we have, sales even, if that's what's going on for you, are all actually getting the attention. And so we're making a lot more money or stepping into roles or job opportunities that present more wealth to us for a lot less work, a lot less effort that needs to get put into it. And we're getting a lot more bang for our buck or more buck for our efforts, if that's a better way to put it. That's definitely a lot more of an accurate way to put it. Mars is adding to this with that action, passion, energy, that obstacle clearing, driving force that Mars is. Because Mars in your second house is giving you a chance to start benefiting from your field or your office or maybe a new job opportunity, presenting you with more competitive benefits, more competitive opportunities to not only showcase your skills and your abilities, but to meet higher demands for bigger rewards. This can also be an incredibly powerful time for a lot of you who are looking to find a way to rise above maybe being a face in a crowd, whether it's a face in the crowd at the office or a face in the crowd in your market. Mars, whenever he is in a financial space of our chart, in this case house number 2, but it applies to houses 2, 6, and 10, but again in your case house number 2, we also see this vast amount of wealth being generated through a lot of labor, a lot of work. So even though we are making money while doing less work with Venus, Mars is saying, hey, guess what? We could even do a lot more, because Mars in the second house brings in that overtime focus, that bringing in that energy of taking work home, burning the midnight oil, but also turning a very handsome profit. With Mars and Venus together, you're also going to be noticing that you're getting a chance to be inducted into higher performing spaces, whether it's higher performing spaces in your career, in your market, or in your field, or higher performing teams, higher performing collaborations, and also projects that would be considered noteworthy accomplishments, upon completion that are going to make a new name for yourself in your work. Mercury here is bringing that focus on communications, haste and speed and productivity, which is speeding up your ascent through the ranks of your work life, of your professional life, because Mercury is all about not only making things all the more productive, but speeding up negotiations, speeding up important transactions, speeding up meetings in order to allow you to create a new secure primary income stream. Now, this could be, of course, in the interest of working over something that you already have or migrating you into something that is a cut above what you have been used to in recent months or possibly even recent years, because a lot of the energy of February is doing some massive reversal work over the last 4 to 5 years for a lot of us. And in your case, it has to do a lot with your material quality of life as it relates to your income and your employment situation. However, with Mercury Direct here, we're also seeing you getting a chance to rub elbows with more highly influential people that are not necessarily just going to do all the work for you, but hook you up with better tools and better resources to get more out of the work that you are being provided. We also have the Sun in Aquarius in your third house of communications, pacts, promises, and commitments in your peer group through the 18th of the month. With the Sun, in your third house, what often happens is that we find that we are getting a chance to cultivate the ideal network for whatever purpose we desire, whether this is something that we are doing in order to create a new sense of community around ourselves, personally or professionally or creatively. The Sun is also going to be working really hard on drawing to you more opportunities with which to make a bigger name for yourself in your immediate community. This is also a time where you may be finding that with the Sun in the third house, a lot of contracts, a lot of agreements, a lot of alliances that you have are going through a bit of a renovation process, especially when it comes to what you are used to working with or where you're used to circulating in order to find things that you're looking for. I like the Sun in the third house as well because you're going to find that your peer group or your colleague group is going through a transformation in such a way where the best of the best are being drawn closer to you. However, this will most likely also be a time where you have to refamiliarize yourselves with certain names that you've lost touch with, or maybe even get to know and welcome new faces and new positive influences in your life. And this is also going to allow you to work a lot more closely with and socialize a lot more consistently with friends and allies that are much more demonstrably mutually enhancing and complementary contacts in your life. This could be kind of a weird one though, because sometimes when the Sun is in the third house, we can also see the fluff, the unnecessary, or maybe even the detrimental get revealed for what it is, whether it's in certain contacts or in certain groups or in certain procedures or in certain agreements, and have that get pushed away from us or pushed out by these new additions or this musical chairs that seems to be going on in your social life as well as in your professional life. Mercury will be moving into this part of your chart as well after the 14th of the month. And so we're going to be seeing that we're also getting a chance to speed up the completion and let's just say the completion and finalization of a lot of contracts and agreements and alliances that keep you tied up in old affairs, old journeys, old business, and things that ultimately need to kind of come to fruition now so that we can be ready to get current with ourselves and also have everyone around us current with where we are in our own development, our own work, and our own achievements. Mercury in the third house is also going to be spreading your name far and wide, giving you an opportunity to be seen and discovered by more people. And you're also going to find that because Mercury is in the third house, if there's anything that has been proceeding all too slowly. People have been maybe a bit sluggish, or maybe there's a project that's taking too long to get off the ground, or a pursuit that has maybe been taking too long to come full circle. We're getting a chance to get the lead out and move things along all the more quickly, especially in situations where time is of the essence. After the 18th, the sun will be moving into Pisces, which is your fourth house of home and family, your roots, the domicile, home economics, home-based business operations. And with the sun here, we're getting a chance to bring that attention, enhancement, and support that the sun always brings right on home. This is going to be a time where you're noticing, yes, when it comes to quality of life on the home front, whether it's home economics or home-based business, you're getting a lot more value out of this space. You're going to notice that not only are you getting more value, but new contributions are coming into the home that are also going to be providing some much needed and much welcomed enhancements and alterations to the way you normally go about conducting business or running a home or running a family, making things a lot more easy, a lot more convenient, and in a lot of cases, for some of you, yes, possibly a lot more lucrative. The sun is also going to be working on creating new opportunities to bond more closely, pulling people more closely into your life, beyond your walls, whether this is healing and bonding with family members, whether it's family members that we've never really got a chance to connect to, or even reconnecting with people from our past, from our roots, that are still considered friends and allies that we may have just lost touch with. And this is giving us a chance to have a bit of a homecoming kind of vibe this month. Maybe not literally. We don't want to project literally into astrology, right? That's naive. But we do get a chance to create a new sense of home and castle and kingdom for ourselves. With the sun here, yes, this can also bring an emphasis on healing or patching up old business or clearing old negativity out of the house or out of the family. But I do feel that because the sun always comes in with a bit of lightness, a bit of levity, a bit of joy, this is going to be much easier to do during this time when it comes up than perhaps at another time of the year. Now, we also have a special event going on this month. On the 17th, Jupiter will be sextile to Uranus from Pisces, your fourth house of home and family, the domicile, living situation, and all of that, to Uranus in Taurus, which is actually your sixth house of work, your reputation, your schedule, your team, the people you work with, and the services you provide to the world. Now, with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, novelty, and luck, forming this sextile, right? Jupiter is reaching over. That's what happens in a sextile. A planet reaches out from one house to lift up a planet in another house. So Jupiter is lifting up Uranus, the planet of innovation, revelation, experimentation, spontaneity, and inventiveness. And what's happening is there seems to be a big breakthrough going on as it relates to the home front, a breakthrough with good news possibly coming through relatives, or again, a home-based business situation, or maybe a partner's contribution to the household income that is fundamentally changing the way you go about handling your work life, whether it's making things a lot more comfortable, a lot more efficient, a lot more profitable. This could be a big break when it comes to anything to do with your household economic status, not only just yours, but possibly your partner's, how it's affecting your kids or even relatives in other households. What I like about Jupiter, however, is that this is actually bringing an opportunity for a huge transition that is going to be very smooth, very fast, possibly a little bit stressful because, you know what, sometimes Uranus is nerve-wracking, but it's putting us in a space where we are actually getting a taste of paradise in all respects. Now, the nice thing is this is just getting its start this month, and it's not even all just about the 17th, because when we're dealing with such big, slow-moving planets, such as Jupiter and Uranus, we actually see a window period of effect open up. So we're going to be feeling this between the 12th of February and the 22nd of February. But I want to remind everyone that this is when things get started. This is when the ball gets rolling. This is not when something begins and ends full circle. So you're going to get this started this month if you're willing, if you accept it, if you do the work that it asks of you. And you're going to notice that this is going to bring that taste of paradise over and over and over again until it's anchored and grounded in form and just the normal. Now, with Jupiter in the fourth house, like I said, this is most likely something that is going to be a big break that allows you to make a big departure in the way that you work or earn your income or who you work with, allowing you to pursue some other dream you'd like to realize for your home and for your living situation and your family now and through the future. So, pretty big news. When it comes to our lunations this month, we've got new beginnings and new cycles with a new moon on the 1st, which is, of course, occurring in Aquarius, your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, contracts, and your peer group. So a new moon, remember, new cycles, new beginnings, it's going to be starting on the 1st, but we have a window period, right, of effect. Lunations always last 2 weeks in effect, from the 1st through the 15th. And a new moon in the third house indicates some kind of new collaboration, new alliance, or maybe new team situation being put at your feet for you to consider that could actually give you a big launch, right? A really big launch either in your career or in your social life. With the new moon in the third house, this could actually be a very strong collaboration that helps expand your reach or put a bigger name for you out there. The new moon in the third house could also indicate a transformation in the way that you are received by others. And this is also a time where a lot of you who maybe have considered making a new name for yourself, going out and publishing, making a big submission, putting something out there to be received by the general public will have a lot of wind backing you and supporting you to make the biggest splash possible. A new moon here can also indicate an opportunity for travel, whether it is something you want to do this month or if you're planning a move or maybe some kind of trip or holiday, even out into the future. We're going to get this crystallized during this time, right? We get the ball rolling during this 2-week window period so that it can substantiate within the next few months or sooner. And a lot of you may also find that a whole new community or network is forming around you of both familiar faces and new faces. And for our full moon of the month, we've got a full moon in Leo on the 16th of February, which creates a window period affecting the 16th through the end of the month. Now, a full moon is all about culminations, transitions, and endings. And for a lot of you Sagittarius people, this is going to be a time where a policy, a standard, an institution, an order, a contract, or a commitment that has ultimately had a big influence on the decisions you've been able to make, whether it's for yourself or for your family or for your career, for your spiritual practice, or maybe your own movements. That commitment, that standard, that institution is dissipating. It is going away during this time. And you're going to notice that it's actually going to be a very freeing experience. A lot of you may find that this also supports big moves, travel opportunities, maybe transfers where you were not able to do transfers before, whether this is happening in your own, work life, again, your education, academics, excuse me, or possibly even ties to a specific location or a certain group, or maybe even something that has just limited your availability to, push off with a project or a pursuit that you have been waiting to get underway. This is, however, a space where it does not feel universally comfortable or happy to everybody because sometimes, you may be in situations where a work group or a family group or a community or whatever may not necessarily see the blessing in this right away. And so I urge you, Sagittarius people, not to be intimidated when people around you or if people around you are just unsettled by change, by the fact that it exists. This is something that is actually going to serve a lot of people who actually take the advantage that is being offered to them for a big freedom break. So that is what I have got for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.